So before we get started with this Q&A, Less Shitty is now finally live after a year and a half. Now you definitely don't have to buy anything, but if you just want to check it out, maybe grab a pair of socks, a shirt, or both. You can do that on the website now. Anyways, just wanted to say a big thank you for your patience and your support. That being said, we're gonna get started with these Q&A questions. First one is it worth moving to a big city even just for a few years? I would say yes. If you guys didn't know, I moved from my hometown back in Edmonton to Vancouver about over 2 years ago. And for myself, it was partly for my career and just wanting some change, you know, just be surrounded by people who were more in the entertainment industry. But I'd say if you're even questioning it, it's worth at least trying, because you don't want to ever look back and regret not trying anything. At the end of the day, if all goes to shit, you can always just go back to your hometown. Jasper also really likes Vancouver. Babe, do you want to put in your 2 cents? If you guys didn't know, Ryan is from an even smaller town, both from Alberta. So how was your experience moving to a bigger city?
I could have moved to a bigger city in Alberta, but I didn't think that I would get the experiences that I was looking for from somewhere like Vancouver.
While you're here, the next few questions are relationship related, so might as well get into that. What do you think of marriage and kids?
Marriage is great. I'm glad that it's legal for us to get married in Canada.
That's true.
For the past, what, 16 years?
A lot more years in the States.
Yeah.
I think marriage is also something that it's so traditional that it's ingrained in us. And I think it's great for couples that don't want to get married, but we're definitely getting married.
Not right now.
Not right now.
This is not an engagement relief.
Could you imagine if for the launch day video? How about kids? Because, you know, can't really conceive.
We've tried.
Are you and Ryan going to be acquiring any more pets soon?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Not anytime soon.
We're going to get 3 cats, a dog, and a pig, which we will eventually raise so that I can have dry-aged pork chop. No, we're not going to get any pets at this time.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's hard enough leaving Jasper in doggy daycare.
Yeah.
Or somewhere where he doesn't have to feel anxious all the time.
I feel like allergies are the least of our limitations. That's not why we're not getting a cat, because there's allergy shots, there's medication, there's allergy therapy. It's more so just adding another pet into this space just complicates things a little bit more than we need it to be right now, but eventually, of course, we will.
Yeah.
With that being said, Ryan now has to go to work. Everyone say bye, Ryan. Bye. Okay, you can leave now.
Ouch.
That's where Ryan has to go. Say bye. Say bye. Okay, bye. Say bye. Bye. All right, where were we? What would you consider an essential when focusing on a new startup? I feel like everyone says this, but it's definitely your why. I talked a bit about this in the previous video, but there's so many different aspects about a brand, whether it's the name, the logo, the visual identity. And none of that essentially matters if you don't have your why. Because I really do think your why is going to be the thing that's going to be driving you when all other things may not be working out. So whatever it may be you're going into, whether it's a new goal, a new career, a new habit change, really think about your why. Don't think too much about the little tertiary aspects, because all of those things can change as you and your brand develops. Have you ever thought about moving to another city or country? All the time. I think as of right now, Vancouver is our home base for sure. We would love to do a lot more traveling in the future. A lot of the questions are have you been to Paris or Italy or any, have I been to Europe? I don't think I've ever been to Europe at all. And I think that's mainly because, you know, as a kid, our family never went on vacation, but immediately as I graduated from university, I went into self-employment, whether that was for personal training, whether it was for my commercial photography and videography business, or for content creation. I never really had the time or the money to travel, because when you're self-employed, you could always work more. But I'm also just not a very big vacation guy. I love my routines. I love my mundane day-to-day stuff. So I think the most I could really leave anywhere for is a week or 2 weeks. Actually, Ryan and I were talking about New Zealand and spending some time there, so that would be really cool as well. But yeah, we would love to travel more. There's just always a lot going on, you know? How do you come out to your homophobic but loving parents? Great question, because this was exactly my scenario. And obviously just keep in mind, you know, coming out is different for everyone. It's a very individual thing. But I'd say for anyone, you know, that's thinking of coming out, make sure you are financially independent. Worst case scenario, they kick you out. You want to be able to house yourself, or at least have somebody you can rely on. But financial independence, I feel like, is key. Make sure that you're safe. And also, if you can, try to have some distance between you guys. Obviously, your parents are going to need time to kind of take in everything that has happened. And I think it's best if you guys are kind of have your alone times. So whether you wait until you are living out of the house, for me, it was in a different province, and it's just what happened in my situation. And you know, was it the best possible coming out situation? Probably not. But from my experience, you know, when coming out to parents who are part of a minority group and where their culture, it's less acceptable to be queer, it is helpful to have that space. But at the end of the day, coming out is a very personal thing, so you just got to listen to your gut and do what feels right. Not a question, but just hope you're being kind to yourself, and good luck with the launch. Thank you. How do you stay balanced? I think it all just is a part of trying to be less shitty. The whole point of that message is not to focus on any one aspect of your life, whether that's in your wellness or minimalism or sustainability or reducing your animal protein intake. I'm not really ever hyper focusing on any of these aspects. Obviously, as you go through your life, there are going to be moments where one aspect takes more priority, but I wouldn't say I would completely neglect any other aspect to focus on one of those aspects, if that kind of makes sense, because the whole point is to be less shitty at each of those aspects, whatever it may be, right? Have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? It's not something I sought after. As a kid, I really wanted to be a teacher, but I guess as we were growing up, and myself being the child of immigrant parents, I kind of associated any type of like 9-to-5 work with just not a lot of money, not a lot of flexibility, not a lot of free time. Just kind of seeing how it drained my parents' energy, because they were working these very entry-level positions when they first immigrated to Canada. I think it just left a very bad kind of taste in my mouth for traditional jobs. And obviously that's not the case for all jobs. That's just my interpretation as a child. But I think that really shaped me into kind of going into the more self-employment route. All right, so this video is getting way too long, so I think this is going to be the last question. What was the hardest part of creating a clothing brand? I would say the two main things would be the time involved as well as the money invested. Because I was going down the route of cut and sew, which means that we were making the patterns ourselves and designing a custom garment instead of just putting my logo onto, you know, standard shirts or sweaters. It just took so long, and with everything with the world and shipping times and material costs, etc., it just took 10 times longer than I could have ever expected. And a lot of the time it was just a waiting game, and because there was nothing I could really do until the products or the samples arrived, I just had to be patient. And even once like the pre-production models arrived, sending it back for revisions and then waiting another month for that and then sending it back again, and then it was just a lot of back and forth. And I think it really taught me that a lot of the things are outside of your control. There's really no point getting too worked up about it. And also just the sheer cost of making my own patterns, custom milling my own fabric, dyeing, buying inventory in bulk, packaging supplies, shipping, and I didn't take out any loans. Everything is just self-funded. But regardless, we're here and it's just getting started. Like, this is literally just the first drop, and I'm sure there's gonna be even bigger headaches coming along the way. But you guys are coming along, which is going to be very exciting. But it's also like a comforting feeling, you know? It's, if something goes wrong, I can like talk to you guys about it and get your feedback. And it feels really special to have designed something while bringing you guys along the journey. I think my first video in this series about like, you know, building the brand was back in January of 2021. And here we are, mid 2022. yeah. But yeah, folks, I think that's pretty much it for this Q&A. Once again, Less Shitty is now live. Thank you guys so much for the support and being patient. If you guys want to check it out, go check it out. As always, thank you guys for watching, and remember to be less shitty. Thanks, guys. Goodbye, fist bump. You missed. Come on, fist bump. Okay, close enough.